Alice here. Welcome to Garden Ray. Want to turn your yard or patio into a fabulous butterfly garden? Today I'll show you the host plants that will make that happen and bring that butterfly magic into your yard. It's butterfly flying time in the garden, and I've seen evidence that some have laid eggs and there may be some caterpillar action. So I want to see what's what and what I can do to help the caterpillars. I know that the geckos and the frogs and birds can pick the caterpillars off the host plants. Statistics show only 5% of caterpillars ever make it to the adult phase. So it's so important to try to help the butterflies and prevent some of the loss of butterfly species that's occurring in North America and throughout the world. So let's go see what's happening with my host plants. I have 3 kinds in the yard. Curly parsley, which I know from experience long-term the butterflies, black swallowtails love. I have a brown fennel plant, and I have a dill plant. And those are planted at various places around the yard so that there's not a conglomeration of host plants, because that would be easy pickings for the birds. They would see all the caterpillars together and it would be easy for them to pick them off. Look at what I found on my brown fennel. Here is huge black swallowtail caterpillar. It's ready to form a cocoon to go into its next stage of metamorphosis. Hopefully in an okay position. It's kind of visible right now. So the fennel has produced a result, and this is actually a great plant because it's really thick and the caterpillars can hide in here. Next plant, let's go look at the dill. Well, dill is an early season plant, and I did have some. Here's evidence that it actually bloomed, and I did see it growing in the wintertime. There's not any more of it. It's not a good time to plant it. It's too hot and humid. Those of you in cooler zones may have good luck with dill much later into the summer. I'm thinking maybe another fennel plant in this location where I tried the dill, and stick with curly leaf parsley and fennel for my black swallowtails. Next is my 3rd spot where I have some parsley growing. This is curly leaf parsley, which I've found to be the most effective in my experience for my black swallowtails. I tried flat leaf and I tried Italian, and nobody came, but here is one swallowtail caterpillar. I am happy with my strategy to attract the swallowtails. I did plant the host plants. There's the parsley, gone to bloom, but that doesn't defer caterpillars. I planted some early spring bedding plants, petunias back there, dianthus, which need to be deadheaded, but they've been blooming, and I saw a swallowtail on one yesterday. Yellow blooming plants, leftover coreoptos are red dressed roses. They have attracted a black swallowtail that I watched yesterday. So I have the blooming flowers to attract the butterflies and the host plant that they prefer for them to lay eggs. And lo and behold, it works. Part of my butterfly host strategy was to have various locations, and we've seen 3. One was the fennel, one was the dill, and one was the curly leaf parsley in my Mary bed. This is a pot by the house, was going to be a kitchen garden, but it turned into curly leaf parsley. They laid eggs, and now I have some caterpillars that have eaten through the plant. In the past, when I only had one parsley, there were too many caterpillars on it, and they went looking for food, and I did not have any other food in the yard for them. I decided I would have enough if I need to move some caterpillars to an area that's going to have more food. I'm thinking this large one I'm going to leave, and the smaller one I'm going to move over to the parsley plant in the Mary garden where there's adequate parsley for it to continue to eat voraciously, grow big like it's this one here, and form its cocoon, and then there'll be more black swallowtails that are flying in the yard. So I'm going to perform a very simple procedure. I'm going to snip the stem of the parsley that this smaller caterpillar has eaten. So I have something to hold on to. And then I'm going to take it and put it on the large parsley that's blooming in the Mary garden. Here it is, and we're just walking over to put it in an area that it didn't look like there were any other caterpillars for competition, and so it will crawl onto the leaves when it's finished on the stem. Now that the other caterpillar is gone, this huge caterpillar has some leaves left that it can munch on until its process is ready to go to the next step. We'll see what happens. The whole process, it only takes days for each of the 3 phases. It goes egg, the caterpillar, the cocoon, and then the metamorphosis process occurs in the cocoon. Out comes a black swallowtail butterfly. So fingers crossed that my butterflies make it, because there are a lot of sharp-eyed songbirds around. You may be able to hear them in the background. And there are plenty of geckos and some frogs, if I can even identify where the cocoons are located. Sometimes on plant. Sometimes they crawl a distance and they'll go up the wall, the side of the house. Sometimes they'll hang off a banister. It's just hard to know where they're going to be. Good morning. I am curious to see what's going on with my caterpillars. So I started here with the biggest one that I noticed right by the house, and there's several parsley leaves left, and now it has moved to another location, but it is still working on this parsley. And there's a little bit of parsley left that it's moving itself around. I'm just going to leave it alone and let nature take its course. Let's go check out the fennel. The fennel plant is still intact, and I saw the caterpillar on some lower leaves, and I'm just going to walk around, see if I can find it anywhere, and I don't see it moving their stems around. It's possible that because it was a large one, that this one has already moved. Plenty of food on this plant, so the caterpillar had no shortage of food. It's possible that a bird or a big toad picked it off. Hope not, but that's always a possibility. Now on to the Mary garden to see what is happening with the large plant over there. Looks like some action caterpillars have been at work, but at the moment I don't spot any of them. So, right in front of me, here's a large one, and this one may be ready to cocoon or may be just in the spot where one of the birds that's coming to the bird feeder and the bird bath may just pick it off. And at the base, there should have been 3 other caterpillars. I don't see them at this point. Sometimes I will look and I don't see things, and then I come back and lo and behold, they're there. While I hope for a lot of success, I have to be realistic and keep in mind that 5% of the caterpillars make it, and the rest provide insect protein for songbirds, especially for the nesting ones. Baby birds require insect protein, so they don't thrive on seeds. They need insect protein, and caterpillars are the number 1 source of that protein. I can look at this as maybe not so many black swallowtails, but protein for the nesting birds. Let's go check out what nesting bird I have. I've placed a bluebird box in an open area in my yard, and it does have a nesting pair. I've been watching them for the last few days and seeing the female going in and out of the entrance hole to the box. And this is about as close as I want to get. I don't want to disturb them during the day. They are out searching for insect protein. So it's possible that some of the caterpillars on my curly leaf parsley have been used to feed their babies. And if that's so, then that's just the great circle of life and what it's all about in terms of attracting the pollinators, birds, and the butterflies to my yard. So that's one type of success. 2 gardening tips for your success. First, the curly leaf parsley, the plant that got munched by those caterpillars. It is biennial and has a 2-year life cycle. The first year, it's doing leaf growth and plant has new leaves coming up from the roots, so it's not dead and gone. Plant in the Mary garden, flowering, it's getting ready to bloom. This is its 2nd year. After it blooms and the plant finishes its life cycle, I'll be replacing it with a new plant. That brings me to the next important garden tip. When you shop for your host plants, know that plants that are sold by the big box stores and many nurseries come from growers who use systemic pesticide in the plants to try to keep them looking good. These pesticides will kill your caterpillars. To be a successful butterfly gardener, you want to find the growers or those people who have nurseries in your area who do not put systemic pesticides in the herbs that they sell. Now, if you're not able to find anybody locally that has organic plants, another option is if you have an organic section in your grocery store or herbs, fresh herbs that are in pots in your grocery store. Those are not prepared with pesticides because they're going to be consumed by humans. So that's an option to use those plants in your garden. Lastly, if that's not available, then you can buy your plants at your big box store knowing they've got the pesticides, plant them, give them a couple of weeks or 3 to get their roots established, and then cut the leaves back and have them regrow their leaves. You'll be eliminating leaves that have the systemic pesticide in them, and the new growth will have very little, if any, pesticide present. Some folks say, well, why should I bother with these plants knowing the problems that might be in them? And if you're good at starting your plants, propagating your plants from seed, and you can develop your herbs from seed, then that's a wonderful way to keep your garden supplied with the plants that you need. If you want more butterflies in your yard, check out my How to Create Butterfly Garden videos, linked here and in the description. Love to hear your butterfly success stories, your questions, and please share in the comments below. Let's build a garden yard community and create more butterfly-friendly spaces in our yards. And remember, every garden, no matter how small, creates opportunity locally for our butterflies, pollinators, and birds. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Garden Yay! See you again soon.